You ever felt like there's just not enough hours in the day? Like there's just always another task to get to, always something to try and check off a box. It feels like you're just doing task on top of task on top of task. Because I used to feel the exact same way until I found this one simple thing that was able to help me transform my life and organize my day for maximum efficiency. I'm recording in the library. I'm in one of the study rooms, so it's going to be a little lower in volume, but the power of the information that we're going to go over today is just as strong as usual. All right, so the first thing that we should go over, obviously, benefits of organization, right? If this isn't going to benefit you or serve you in some way, why are you doing it? So first and foremost, you're buying yourself extra time because by organizing your day, you now are able to use every single minute and hour and second of the day the most efficiently, right? Because that's, at the end of the day, this is number one goal. You want more time to do whatever it is that you want to do. Scheduling it helps you see what time you have, what time you need to allocate to other things, and then you can shift and move things around to make more time or to reallocate the time that you're already using. Now, these two are more byproducts of having more time and being organized in your day, because studies have shown that your stress, like number two, your stress will decrease. You know what it is that you have to do in a given day. You know the priority level of that task, and based on the amount of time you're able to allot to that task, you'll be able to determine if you can get that done and meet more deadlines. Who doesn't like to be more efficient, meet more deadlines? That's the goal. Number three, your productivity is going to skyrocket, right? Productivity is definitely going to increase. Like I said, you're taking the time that you're given, because we all have the same 24 hours in a day. And so some people are like, wow, how are you so efficient? It's because you know how long you're able to accurately gauge and guess how long it is going to take you to get a certain task done. You know how long it is that you need to get that task done. You know which tasks need to get done in a day. So once your work is done, it's been a good day. You know, people say, man, I just had a terrible day, but what happened? I mean, everything at work just seemed to be piling up. I couldn't seem to get anything done. That frustrates people. But when you have a plan and you're able to go after that plan and execute and accomplish that plan, man, the day is great. If you plan to get certain things done and you get them done, even if it was a lot of work, at the end of the day, you feel accomplished. That's the goal. You want to lower your stress, increase your productivity, and reallocate and buy yourself some more time. Let's get into some of the tools that you can use so that you can actually reap these benefits I'm talking about instead of just hearing about them. All right, I start organizing my day the night before, because before going to bed, I spend about 10 to 15 minutes usually journaling, writing something down in the planner, or reviewing my calendar and making a list of the 3 to 5 priority tasks for the next day. Why? Because if you don't have a clear plan, you can't eliminate decision fatigue in the morning, right? I'm not wondering, what should I do first? Or should I do this first? Or should I do that first? Or what if I decide to do something different? Or I wake up in the morning and I just mentally, I'm not fully awake yet. If I have a plan and a routine that I made when I was fully conscious and awake, I could just get into the motion of it. And then by the time I do actually wake up, I'm ready to go. Every morning, I stick to a simple routine. Hydrate, stretch, spend 5 minutes reviewing my goals for the day. And that gets me energized and focused every single morning. So one of the biggest tools that I like to use associated with organization that I recently started is the Eisenhower Matrix. So as you can see, there's 4 categories: urgent, not important, and important. Basically, all you would do is you combine urgent with important. That's something you want to do. Not urgent with important, something you have to decide when you're going to do it. Urgent, not important, delegate that to somebody else, somebody that you know, that you trust can get that done. And if it's not urgent and it's not important, go ahead and delete it off your checklist for today. It's not a priority, right? And when I really started organizing my tasks throughout my day like this, that's really how I started to see an increase, not only in my productivity, but I was meeting more deadlines with a lot more extra time to spare at the end. An example for each of these categories would be, for example, today I needed to record this video and it needs to be done by the end of this week. Today's Thursday. So it's important and it's urgent. There's only 3 days left in the week. So that's something I'm doing today. All right. So this is where the magic happens. Time blocking is basically where you assign every task a specific slot of time. It's based off of Parkinson's law, which states that a task will expand or contract based on the amount of time allotted to it, right? So, for example, I like to dedicate my mornings to deep work. So that's writing or problem solving, where my mind is the sharpest. You can see I have my morning routine, I respond to my emails, and then I'm shooting my content, right? I want to be my sharpest when I'm doing that. The afternoons are for things like meetings or lighter tasks, such as you can see on this calendar, I'm taking my grandmother to her doctor's appointment, and then I have a ramen lunch date, right? And yes, I do like to schedule in time for personal things such as reading. Sometimes there'll be breaks. I believe in this specific day. You can see there's just white space in there for breaks because you don't want to schedule things back to back. Again, you want to be flexible. Now, step number 5 is where you're going to batch similar tasks, right? So to save time and mental energy, I like to batch similar tasks together. For example, you can see me here. I'm checking and responding to emails at the exact same time rather than throughout the day periodically, right? This keeps me focused and it helps me prevent from constantly context switching between different tasks. So usually I'll allot like an hour. I think if you look on the calendar, it's about an hour. The first 30 minutes will be me checking emails, and then the next 30 minutes will be me responding to emails or writing emails I need to send out for whatever it is that I'm doing, whether that's school, work, content, etc. So usually I do a quick check-in midday just to ensure that I'm on track. So you can see me here. I'm actually just writing some things, jotting down some notes. And if something unexpected does come up throughout the day, I usually use this time to reprioritize rather than letting that one thing derail my entire plan for the day. Because at the end of the day, if you're on a team and one player is injured, that doesn't mean we have to forfeit the match. We just have to, move things around. So that's really all I'm doing right here. Obviously, I've shown a lot of different things, but I do want to demonstrate some of the tools that I personally use, digital tools specifically, that kind of help me stay organized, right? So you can see here we're using Google Calendar for scheduling and time blocking, and it's really simple to do. Actually, here, let me go ahead and show you guys how it is that I would create a new task, right? So you're going to click on the white space. It's going to add a blank option, and then you're going to check, you're just going to type in whatever that assignment is. In this case, it's check my PO box. You're going to advocate the time needed for it. So again, you don't want to make it so that it's too tight of a deadline. You can't make it, but you don't want to make it to the point where you have 3 hours to do something like throw out the trash. Obviously, it doesn't take that long. And then usually I like to color code mine. So anything in red has to get done that day. And then anything in pink, I believe, is soft assign. Orange is more like secretarial stuff, so responding to emails, if I have to ship something, print out a package, etc. And then green is more personal, not work related, so it can be something like, again, taking my grandmother to her doctor's appointment would be an example. Another great app that I like to use is on the iPhone, the Notes app. So you can see here I like to call them Taskmasters. It's actually based off of the Amazing Spider-Man episode, which is a cartoon. But basically, I like to keep this because I check my phone constantly throughout the day. So I just have these tasks that I can check off as I complete them throughout the day. And then the last tool that is super helpful, especially for school and work, not necessarily for prioritization, but more so for just staying on task and staying in some sense of flow, is using a Pomodoro Timer, which basically helps you to focus on tasks in short burst intervals. So the way that works, the Pomodoro Timer is actually, again, slightly based off of Parkinson's law, in saying that if you give yourself a certain amount of time, you're going to be able to get X amount of tasks done in that amount of time, right? So what it does is it's 25 minutes of deep work. So that's where it's no distractions, phones are off, notifications are silenced, headphones are on. You are locked and dialed into whatever it is that you're doing for the next 25 minutes. And then you're going to take a 5-minute break when that 25 minutes is over. And then you repeat this 4 times. And then after that 4th time, you'll get up and then take a longer break. That can be anywhere from 10 minutes to 30 minutes, whatever you need to reset. And then you're good to go. So usually what I like to do at the end of the day is take some time to reflect. And I ask myself these 3 questions typically. What went well today? What's something that, was accomplished? What was something that was efficient and something that I personally was proud of? The second question I like to ask is, what can I improve, right? Because if we're not changing and growing and improving, we're going to stay stagnant. And at the worst case scenario, you'll take a step backwards, right? And that third question is, did I accomplish my top priority? So again, that's those 3 to 5 tasks that the night before I said we needed to get done. And those are typically the ones that I highlight in red on my calendar, right? And this process doesn't only wrap up my day, but it prepares me mentally for tomorrow. All right, so for the next segment, what I want to do is go over some of the common pitfalls that you want to avoid when you first start out scheduling, or if you've tried scheduling in the past and it didn't work, you've probably experienced one of these, if not more. And obviously, this is not an exhaustive list, but these are the primary ones that most people focus on or fall victim to, if you will. First one, schedule overload, right? Everyone feels like they're Superman when they first start scheduling. I've done it. Friends that I know have done it. Family members have done it. Everybody's tried it. Once you feel like you schedule your day out from sun up to sundown, you want to be the most efficient person possible. Just if you look at your calendar, every single piece of white space in the day from sun up to sundown is just a colored box and a task. And frankly, we're humans, okay? You're not going to get that done. I'm just going to tell you right now. The most efficient CEOs, their day is not time blocked like that. There's just task on task on task. They may have a lot on their plate, but trust me, they understand that they're human. And if you're overloading your own schedule, you're not focused on the quality of the task that you're doing. You're really just trying to get a bunch of stuff done, right? So that's the first one. Don't overload your schedule. That leads us to our second point, skipping your breaks. You don't want to skip your breaks because by skipping your breaks, you're putting yourself into the machine category. You are a human being. I remember there's this story, I'm not sure if it's fictitious or not, the story of Henry and the railroad. And they said basically they challenged this man, Henry, to make a railroad and to challenge their machine. Well, at the end of the day, the railroad and the machine, they finished at the same time. But the result is that Henry died. And while that story is tragic, what it really demonstrates is that humans are not machines. You need breaks. So if you schedule breaks into your calendar, take them. Okay? Like, we are not meant to go 24/7, 365, and twice on Sundays. You have a break, you need to schedule it. It allows you to reset, take a step back. If you're someone who's creative, it gives you a chance to refresh and respark. If you're someone that's logical, you're not sitting there working on the same circular logic that you've been thinking about for the past 20 minutes. A break is a chance for you to reset, just like your laptops. If you let them run constantly day in and day out, eventually they're going to fail on you because they need time to sleep. You need to restart your system, you need to update it, etc. Last but not least, you're lacking flexibility. And that ties into all these. The unexpected will be the reason that you fail. That's just the bottom line. If you don't plan for the unexpected, it's going to be the reason you fail. Flexibility means those random things that happen, those emergencies, those days where you're sick, you don't feel well, something doesn't come up, or if you're working on a team, somebody doesn't have part of it that you were planning on or anticipating. So now you have to pivot and change. That all comes with flexibility. So if your day is scheduled out to the point where you've tried to, again, overload your schedule, Parkinson's law says that your work will expand based on the amount of time given. It's just like water in a cup. It expands to the given volume. So if you've given yourself no time and no space for flexibility, you're just going to end up frustrating yourself, and then you're not going to want to schedule. And then 2 weeks later, you're going to be right back where you used to be, just going with the flow, doing whatever you feel is best. And that's not going to help you. If you can try your hardest to avoid these three, you'll find that scheduling is actually more beneficial than you think, and you won't end up quitting it in the first week. First and foremost, plan at night. Dad always says that the battle of the morning is won the night before. So write out what it is that you need to get done in the next day at night. So that way in the morning, you're already good to go. Number two, time block your tasks. Each task that you have to get done takes a certain amount of time. Try to estimate as best as you can how much time you think it's going to take you, giving yourself some grace and adding in some flexibility. Again, Parkinson's law. The task that you have, you'll be able to get it accomplished. It'll expand or decrease based on the amount of time that you give yourself reasonably, right? Again, we're humans, not superheroes. So still be lenient with yourself. Number three, use priority tools like the Eisenhower Matrix to determine what needs to get done, what you need to decide, the order of priority on when it needs to get done, what you can delegate to other people, and things that just are not important and do not need to get done today, right? Number four, batch your tasks. For example, if you're going to respond to your emails, pick a certain time that you're not only going to respond to emails, but also send emails. That way, it's not so easy for you to get off track or defocused throughout your day as you're trying to get through that checklist of tasks that you already had based on your time blocking. And then lastly, reflect and prepare every single day, right? This is not something that you do once or you do twice and you forget about it or it just becomes natural over time, right? It's a discipline, it's a habit. So it's something that you're going to have to do every day. And I would even recommend on the weekends, I try and do it on the weekends as well, not because, obviously you don't work on weekends, or if you do work on weekends, then you really need to do it. But if you don't work on weekends, why would you spend 5 days of the week super organized and focused, budgeting yourself and your time, and then on the weekends, you're just wasting, 48 hours. It's not like those aren't hours that you get or time that you can't use or allocate for other things. Just because you're not going to your typical 9 to 5 doesn't mean you still can't allocate for what it is you need to get done. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Down in the comments below, I want you to comment which of those common pitfalls you've potentially fallen into in the past, and which of these tips you think is going to help you the most on your journey to organization for this year. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. Hit that bell icon. And until next time, peace.